Hello and welcome to another edition of Bombchu News. My name is Chris, I'm joined by Andron, and today we'll be covering the news that we found interesting.
Razer announced that the Ouya will be finally put to rest next month. The Ouya launched on June 25, 2013 with the goal of bringing Android-based games to the big screen. After being successfully kickstarted to the tune of $8.5 million, it was sold to Razer later in its life. Razer promptly discontinued the Ouya in July of 2015 and has been considered a total commercial failure. 4 years after the death blow to the Android system, Razer has announced that June 25, 2019 will mark the final days for the Ouya service. This was the final piece of support for Ouya still in place. For those who own one, any games that are currently downloaded will continue to operate as normal if they do not require confirmation of purchase at launch. Any games that happen to be exclusively on Ouya will rely on the developer for which platform they land on next. The Ouya honestly had no real impact on the industry and certainly didn't disrupt the market. However, its loss should provide a valuable lesson to any company hoping to break into the profitable home console business.
Red Dead Online's beta has come to a close as the newest update brings a lot of changes and new content. Red Dead Redemption 2 players first got access to the online component a month after the game released, and reception was very mixed from the start. While the single-player aspect of the game was incredibly well received and was my favorite game of last year, the online portion didn't seem to have anywhere near the same level of detail and time devoted to it as was clearly put into the main game. Red Dead Online has always had a problem with the in-game economy, which seemed to be clearly designed around players spending real money on in-game purchases. Rewards for completing events were all fairly low, with some aspects such as hunting and fishing constantly getting nerfed to the point of being completely useless. Even if players wanted to try and find their own fun with a created character in the Old West, any attempts were thwarted by the huge amount of trolls and griefers whose only purpose is to make life miserable for others. The result was a chaotic mess, even more so than Grand Theft Auto 5 Online is, since there is no pacifist option available to players not wanting to engage with others outside of controlled events. No matter how you wanted to approach the game, it just wasn't any fun to play. However, Rockstar appears to have been listening to player feedback and is making a lot of changes to Red Dead Online now that it's no longer in beta. One of the most intriguing changes is to the game's hostility system. Players can now set their playstyles to either offensive or defensive. The offensive playstyle is the standard PvP-enabled mode, with regular consequences for engaging other players. The defensive playstyle marks you as a player wanting to engage more with the free roam aspects than with the PvP battles. Defensive players cannot be pulled into PvP events, will be indicated on the minimap with a shield icon to distinguish them from other players, take reduced damage from other players, and cannot be lassoed, meleeed, executed, or targeted with auto-aim. Anyone who targets defensive players despite this will receive much harsher penalties via the hostility system, and defensive players who decide to initiate conflict themselves will be pulled out of defensive mode and be hit with similar penalties from the hostility system. The update is also bringing in a load of new content, including story missions, new free roam characters, dynamic events, and even poker. Rockstar also announced that they had increased the gold payouts on almost every activity in the game. Rockstar claims that most gold earning activities are now awarding up to double the amounts they were previously. I had put a little bit of time into Red Dead Online, as the Old West is one of my favorite settings, but the game just had too many problems keeping me from having any kind of fun. However, this new update seems to show that Rockstar has been listening to the players' complaints, as almost every major issue seems to be getting addressed. If you played Red Dead Online in the past and couldn't find the fun in it, now seems like the perfect time to give it another go. Well, that's all the news that we found interesting today. Let us know what you thought about it down in the comments below, and we'll see you next time.
A big thank you to Gabriel Skaggs, Michael Slater, and all awesome patrons for your support.